Today I'm sharing 3 French Cottage inspired thrift flips that are beautiful and super easy to make. Welcome to my channel, Freckled Mom DIY. I'm Devin. If you're new, welcome. And if you're returning, hey, I'm part of a challenge and I'll explain that in a bit, but let's flip right into these DIYs. Here's one of those breakfast in bed trays. I got this for $5.99 and I definitely needed a little sprucing up, so I brought it out to the garage and I spray painted it with my Rust-Oleum white and I gave it 2 coats. This tray is so big you can only see a portion. I'm painting the whole thing with my Rust-Oleum linen chalk paint. If you're new to my channel, welcome. We do a lot of Dollar Tree crafts, DIY, gifts and decor, thrift flipping, and more. If you like these kind of videos, please consider subscribing. To all my returning friends and subscribers, thank you. Don't forget to hit the bell so you'll be notified every time I post a new video. You can also find me on Instagram as Freckled Mom. Now I wanted to add a top to this to go with that French inspired idea, and I went through with a heavy dose of Mod Podge. I'm not a big fan of using these foam brushes for Mod Podge, but this is what I use. Next time, just use a regular brush. I have this cardstock I got from my Cozy Neutrals pack that I got at Michael's, and I thought this was going to be super cute, like a reminder of a French bistro or a French café. After I laid it down, I did a good rubbing with my Mod Podge tool, and then I also used a little scraper. And that was just to get out the majority of the air bubbles. And now I go over with another generous coat of Mod Podge and I cover the entire thing. Don't worry about those lines not lining up, we're going to fix that. So I cut out a skinnier pattern just to lay over that seam, just so that way you can't tell that the lines aren't matched up. I wasn't going to go crazy trying to line it up, and then I just did another coat of Mod Podge over it. And I think this is super cute. Again, this is going to be for a tray that goes on my bed, or I could use on the couch when I'm sitting there trying to do some work. And here I am just distressing the paper. So there were some bubbles and I'm just going through with a sandpaper and I'm just scruffing it up just to give it that vintage feel. I like to poke holes and just make it a little bit more distressed, and that way it gives it almost like a cottage feel mixed with vintage, but we're still kind of French inspired. This is what I thought of when I thought of French inspired, and I am so in love with this. And now I go through and I do another coat of Mod Podge and I make sure I really get into those spots that I had distressed. That way everything adheres to the surface underneath. How adorable is this? Oh my goodness, this is so cute. I love this. To be honest, I don't eat breakfast in bed, but I might now because this tray is just super cute. I think it is adorable. And you can use it with it laying down. So this is definitely functionable and you can hide it under your bed. This is a challenge around the world. There are 23 of us and we are traveling around the world and sharing DIYs to our favorite areas. There's an amazing, huge giveaway. Listen to how you can win a little later. Down in my description is a link to the playlist to see what everyone else created. This definitely gave me the French feels. I love this so much and it is just adorable, and I got it for $3.99. So you could use this for decoration or you could actually use it to cook in, but I want to use it for decoration, so I am painting it with my plaster Waverly chalk paint, and really just to give it some kind of texture, because I am going to go through and I'm going to distress it a little bit and I'm going to spray paint it, but you're going to see that right here. I just want to give it some texture, and I'm not really putting food in this, and when I do, I put a towel in it like you saw in the picture. So if you are going to put food in this, you definitely need to make sure it's food safe. So this is just some spray paint, and I am doing 2 coats. This is the same spray paint before, Rust-Oleum white. So now comes the fun part, distressing. So I've done this technique before where I use a gold and an orange and my antique wax, and that's what I'm doing here. I did start sanding it thinking that's what I wanted to do, but I wasn't really in love with how it came out. So I only did half of it, and then I was like, I don't know about this. So I went back to my distressing, and I'm doing gold. So I thought because it's French inspired, I should have some gold on it. So I started with the gold first, and I did that on all the edges, the handles, and I'm just going around, and I'm not really being super careful about it, but I am trying to stay on the edges. And I think this is just so adorable and super easy. I've done this on a few pieces already. If you've been on my channel, you've seen I've done these, and I think it comes out so nice. So then I added a little bit on each of those little pieces. Now this could be decoration to go outside or in your home. So I just think this is so cute, the way it's distressed. I did it on the little bolts. And then I'm gonna go over any spots where the paint was, where it didn't really paint the best. That way I can cover that up. I'm going through with the orange, and that is going on top of the gold, and that's just starting to make like that really rustic look. And I love how this looks. I'm still not a big fan of the scraping that I did with the sander, but that's okay because you can just turn it and nobody has to see that. So I'm just going to keep going around with that mixture of gold and orange, and now I have the antique wax. Now this I'm not going super heavy on because I still want to see the gold and the orange as the rust, and this just brings it just to another level. I just love this so much. I think it is so sweet, super cottage, super French. This is just adorable. I'm picturing this filled with baguettes and fruit, and even if it's distressed, I don't care. I'd still eat out of it. And I did put a napkin in it when I did put fruit in it. Again, if you're putting food in it, you need to make sure you're using food safe paint or sealer. How adorable is this? I did throw in a linen towel just as a barrier because this is real fruit and this is not food safe sealed. I really want to use this as decoration out on my porch for fall, but for right now I needed it to put my fruit. So I think this is so sweet, and this is so adorable. This is another thrift flip. I totally love this. I went through, I gave it a really good cleaning, and you definitely want to make sure you clean this because there's oil and dust and different things that maybe the paint won't adhere as well to if you don't clean it well. And then I'm taking off the hardware. I thought about just painting over this. I wasn't sure if I really wanted the hardware the same color or not, but in the end I took it all off. I cleaned that as well. I decided I'm going to keep with that gold and white feel like I did in the second project, and I'm going through with that same spray paint, and I'm just giving it 2 coats. And this is really dry wood. It takes it really well. I was going to paint it again once I got back inside, and then I decided I'm not. I really like this the way it is. I think it looks nice and distressed, and I'm going through with a bunch of my different stamps, and I'm just giving it that distressed cottage feel. I really like this stamp. This made me feel like the French feel, like something is coming through the wood. And here's another stamp, and I mean it's in French, so of course it's French inspired, and I'm just stamping wherever I feel like it would look nice. I didn't want it to be too crazy, but I still wanted it to look like old and messy. And then I have some Dollar Tree stamps here, and I am loving these. I'm so glad I found them. And then I have this round stamp here. All the stamps I got off of Amazon except for the Dollar Tree. So everything is down in my description if you wanted to look these up or maybe look for some other stamps. And then I still had some of that paint left over in my little tray, so I used all the same colors. I have a little mixture on this brush of the gold and the antique wax, and I'm just going through and I'm going over everything. Anytime I see a little blemish in the wood, I go over that a little heavier. and I just think this is so sweet. You could use this to put little trinkets in or just as decoration. I needed a spot to put my chapstick at nighttime, so this was perfect. I can fit my chapstick and, you know, whatever else I need right at my fingertips. And so now I am just putting back on the hinges. Felt like it could use a little bit more distressing, so I just went around and did a little bit more. Not too heavy, just a touch of it, and I think this is adorable. I think this is so sweet, and this was so easy. And these are just items you can pick up at your local thrift store, or if you see it in someone's trash, I mean, take it, clean it, paint it. This is so sweet. I am totally in love. Let me know down in the comments what you think. I hope you enjoyed these thrift flips. If you did, please give this video a big thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed, please consider it. I'd love to know if you love thrifting too. When you hit the bell, you'll be notified every time I post a new video. You can also find me on Instagram as Freckled Mom. Another way to support my channel is buymeacoffee.com. If you like cleaning, cooking, and decorating, please check out my Freckled Mom at Home channel. I have all these links down in my description. Don't forget, this was a challenge. Check out the full playlist. To be entered into the giveaway, you need to mention the word world in your comment on every creator's video. Have a great day, and I'll see you soon.